Hi class, we are starting with our very first transformation, which is called translations. Now, this part of the PowerPoint you should only be watching if you're absent from class. We're going to do this one as a class. So there's no need to watch it unless you were absent. So let's do some background stuff. Before we can talk about translations, we really need to go over things about the coordinate plane, and more specifically, how to plot points, the x and y axis, and quadrants. So let's get going on that. Holy hot dog, I'm already excited. All right, so we have the coordinate plane, which is this one. We have an x and y axis, and we're in a two-dimensional plane. So when we plot points using the variables x and y, which x represents going left and right, and y represents going up and down. So when you guys plot points, you always plot the x first, so you go along the x-axis first, so you go left, right first. Then after that, you go up or down. So then you do the y, which is the up or down, because the y-axis goes up or down. And you always start from the origin. That's very important. If you don't start from the origin, bad things will happen to you. And those bad things are called demon cats, which you're going to find all about in class. So don't you worry. Don't let the demon cats get you. It's serious business when the demon cats are after you. So watch yourself. When we name quadrants, we kind of are going to make a C shape for cat, right? C for cat, I know. Board slapper, that's hilarious. But anyway, so we're going to kind of make a C shape when we name the coordinates, quadrants. So quadrant 1 is up here in the upper right-hand corner. Then we go, JK, LOL, you guys. Then we go to quadrant 2, which is right beside it. Then we're going to head down, because we're making a C for cat, remember, to quadrant 3. And then quadrant 4 will be shimmied over to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's how we name our quadrants. Okay, and then our axes, which I've already kind of mentioned, the x-axis is our horizontal axis, which goes left to right. The negative side of the axis is on the left, and the positive side of the x-axis is on the right, which you probably already knew. And then our y-axis is the vertical axis, which means it goes up and down. And the positive side of the y-axis, I'm sorry, let's go over the negative first. My bad. The negative part of the y-axis is the part down below, and the positive part is the part above the x-axis. So that's some basic background on the coordinate plane. In class, we did this really cool activity where you had to learn about different points and things, and then afterwards, we talked about some observations about points and different values for points in different quadrants and on different axes and things like that. So the points in the first quadrant are A and B. Okay, which the points in the first quadrant are always positive. Yay! Okay, so no matter what, if you're in quadrant 1, x and y are always positive. That will always happen. Every day that ends in a y, it will happen. Okay, in the second quadrant, the point is D, which if you notice, the x in the second quadrant is negative while the y is positive. And guess what, you guys? That will always happen, so not a coincidence. The only point in quadrant 3 is point F, and if you notice, both points are negative, and that, again, always happens. If you're in the third quadrant, x and y are negative. And lastly, in the fourth quadrant, if you notice, the x value is positive while the y value is negative. And again, that should always happen. X is always positive, y is always negative in quadrant 4. And then some other things, the point that we find on the x-axis in this case is E, which, if you notice, points on the x-axis are things like negative 2, 0, negative 3, 0, negative 4, 0, negative 10, 0, 5, 0, 6, 0, 7, 0. If you notice, there's a pattern with these points. Guess what, you guys? The y is always 0 when you're on the x-axis. So when you're on the x-axis, y is 0, okay? And then the x is a positive or negative number. So on the x-axis, x is always a positive or negative. It could be 0 if it's at the origin. And y is always 0. Okay, and something will also happen with the y-axis. So our final point we're going to talk about on this nifty coordinate plane is point C, which is located on the y-axis, which is at point 0, 6. Okay, and again, you guys, points on the y-axis are things like 0, 7, 0, 8, 0, 9, 0, 10, 0, 1, 0, negative 2, 0, negative 6, 0, negative 157. Okay, so if you notice, the value that's always 0 on the y is the x. So on the y-axis, x is always 0, while y is a positive or negative. So on the x-axis, y is always 0. On the y-axis, x is always 0. Cool beans, right? I know. Let's keep going. All right, which, again, we talked about this in class, but if you're absent, here you go. So a transformation is the change in position, size, or shape of a geometric figure. So anything that moves around and changes the position, the shape, or size is called a transformation, which the first three that we're going to talk about are below. The one that we'll be talking about today is a translation or a slide. See that thing slide? Ooh, it looks pretty. So anytime a shape slides around, it could be up, down, left, right, or diagonal. That is a translation, which that is what this section will be all about. So don't you worry. We're going to talk a lot about translations. A reflection is a flip. Anytime a shape flips over a line of any sort, that is going to be called a reflection. And the third type of transformation that we're going to talk about is a rotation, which if you guys see, whoa, it's kind of going around. Looks pretty cool, right? I know. So anytime a shape spins around a point, in this case, this is spinning around the origin, that is called a rotation. Cool beans, right? Let's keep going. Okay, and a translation again is a slide. So it's anytime an object moves to a new location. So see that bad boy? Look, bam, it's moving. Look at that. Whoa, it's moving diagonal. So that is a translation. All right, and in class we brainstormed some translations that we've seen in the real world. So some examples that I came up with. The class came up with some really cool ones. So like if you missed class, like you really missed out. So just saying. But anyways, one of them is just literal sliding. Like look at these cute penguins, they're sliding. Nice. This right here is the fastest man as of right now. This is the year 2020. So as of right now, Usain Bolt is the fastest man that has ever run in the world. If you don't know about him, look him up. He has broken his own world record several times in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, and 4x100 relay. But anyways, I really like running, so I'm kind of a running nerd. But anyway, so that's Usain Bolt. So sports, if you see Usain Bolt is moving from the start to the finish line. So he's translating. Pretty cool. Just general moving, like here's a cool cat on a skateboard. Well, just talked over that dog, and that dog's like, no, you just didn't hop over me. Look at him go. Look, he's mad. Look at him. Look, he's mad. That's hilarious. Then we have this little cat down here on the car moving. So cars move. Any kind of dancing moves around, so you're translating. So things like the electric slide, cha-cha slide, other, dance moves you can do. Here's Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk. He's pretty good at that. And yeah, so now we're kind of picking up where you left off from class. So at this point, we're done with the intro to the coordinate plane and translation. So now in class, we will pick up here with a pre-image and image. But I'm not going to give it away because I know that you want to join the class now. So go ahead and stop this video, and then you can pick up where we left off in class on the next Prezi. So get excited.